Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for this week's question and answer video. I'm answering questions from last week's question and answer video. Today, please, I encourage all of you, ask questions, ask anything you want. No such thing as a bad question, stupid question, repeat question, all good. Just go down below in the comment section, ask me, and I'm going to answer them next Monday in the next question and answer video. Okay, so I recommend something every week, and I better get it up. This week I'm recommending something that somebody else recommended, and I think it's Jennifer. I'm sorry if I honestly can't remember, and I'm sorry, but I took it down and looked at it, and it seems fun. I might have even have read this before a long time ago. I don't know. I'm trying to see when it was published. I can't see. Anyways, it's a book. This book is called Why We Sleep: Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams. It is by Matthew Walker, Steve West, Simon & Schuster is the publisher. It seems like a fun book. It is. I think it's interesting, our dreams and stuff. I think that we tend to look too far into it. I think if we keep in mind that we dream usually about our biggest fears or desires, when we deal with trauma, we'll often have dreams. I said it's one of the last remaining kind of things of trauma as we heal. I've noticed as I healed, I had dreams of my trauma. It was my abuser doing the same similar things she also used to always do. And there was a real strong hint of betrayal, taking my family, my friends away from me, these kinds of things. And then one day I had what I call a closure dream, and it started the same way and it didn't feel the same way at all. And I was the one that walked away this time, and I never had another dream. That's been, 6 years, something like that. Pretty cool. But I think it's interesting. And no matter what you're doing is just kind of investing in yourself and learning more about yourself and things like this. I think it's a great thing. So this book is on Amazon. They charge $13.99 on Kindle, $0 audiobook, $17.79 for the hardcover, $10.29 for paperback. The link will be down below in the description box. Thank you for whoever recommended it. I think it was Jennifer. Not sure. And, okay, let's get started with the questions. First, I lost the question, but it was from Rory. Hi, Rory. You asked me what DMT is, and I might have called it something else. You asked me what the DSM is, and if I said DSM, I'm sorry. I was talking about DMT, and last week I was speaking about hallucinogenic drugs and the damages it can cause people. I've got numerous people over the years ask me, what do you think, David, about taking hallucinogenics to heal from trauma? And my personal opinion, and look, I've done drugs in my life, long time ago. Done quite a few drugs, tried, never had any kind of problem or anything like that. But I've tried drugs, and I'm not totally against them. I think drugs can be great. We can't abuse them, but I think it's great. I think medications are great, things like this. Not so much the drug companies, but we need medicine. A lot of us need medicine sometimes in our life and sometimes forever, and thank God we have it. Hallucinogenics, the problem with this is a lot of people will argue that some hallucinogenics won't cause any problems. Some say it will. The real problem is the long-term psychological effects that hallucinogenics have on your brain, and there's massive long-term effects. I promise. I've studied this a lot. So I mentioned DMT. Rory, you asked me what that is. It's dimethyltryptamine, and there's a chemical in our brains, in our bodies, that is released during death and dreams. A lot of different controversy and arguments on why. A lot of people who have near-death experiences, who have died and come back, have given the same details of their experience as when people take DMT. It's the chemical, and it is hallucinogenic. There's different ways you can take it, and I've never done it. I've had close people to me who have done it and described it. Joe Rogan is a big proponent of it. It's a trip. It's not like other hallucinogenics where you may see and hear something or something moves in your environment. So say you're in a room and something might move, a towel or something kind of starts to breathe a little bit. For any of you who have never done hallucinogenics, this probably sounds really scary. It's actually a part that people enjoy. So that's hallucinating, right? Seeing and hearing things that aren't there. This, when you take this, the room isn't even there. You're gone. You go somewhere else. You can't see anything around you. You have no idea what's going on. I think you kind of have a little awareness that you're actually doing the trip and that you are in this room, but your senses are completely shut down and focused completely on your hallucination. Pretty amazing stuff. Yeah. Anyways, that's all I can tell you about it since I've never tried it. Okay, so first question is from Shanethan Hamlet. Sorry if I have that wrong. And you say, can you point me in a direction so that I can get some help from you on life after being with a borderline and about your son? And thank you for asking. Yes, I can. For any of you who want coaching, you can always find me at daviddemars.com. The link is the first very line right down there in the description box. Just right down there, you'll see it. And thanks for asking. Thank you. Okay, let's get into the rest of the questions. All right. Jennifer from United Kingdom. Hi, Jennifer. David, what is happening to us psychologically during grief? So, grief is about loss. And when you're talking about people, that's what we're talking about. People in relationships. Whether someone passes, a relationship fails and ends. Whether they broke up with you or you broke up with them, doesn't matter. Relationships are commitment because we invest in them every day. And we kind of give a part of ourselves, this investment, this emotional investment, our time and energy, fighting and figuring it out and working together and accomplishing and having a successful relationship. These kinds of things are the worst kind of loss for us in the world. And so when we lose somebody, a relationship or a person, it forces us to look at ourselves. It's kind of like, you know, the most important thing in our life. Just pretend it was like a house and our car and our job and everything, right? It's all gone. We're just sitting there left by ourselves. And since we're sitting here left with ourselves, we are forced to look at ourselves, introspect. During a time of loss, when we're forced to do this, it can be very negative. And so our little voice in our head that protects us and tells us to watch out for danger and things like this, when we're safe, it's not very loud. When we're unhealthy and not safe, people abusing us, traumatized, that voice gets very loud. It gets very loud when we have loss. It can hurt a lot to look at ourselves, and we'll be very difficult, very hard on ourselves, right? You guys, it's that inner critic that becomes loud and negative. You're no good, you can't be loved, you'll never see that person again, they never cared about you, there was someone else, that someone else is better than you, and all these nasty, nasty things that just aren't true. This very often causes depression, situational depression, they call it, for most people. Now, as you get emotionally healthier, we don't respond and react emotionally the same way. And some of the worst experiences in your life don't have to be so difficult, guys. A lot of you who have suffered from trauma, who are still suffering from trauma, still healing and things like this, experiences like loss are just huge and tremendous and powerful, and they don't have to be so bad. They aren't. As we become more and more mature, we start becoming accepting of these things, and it's okay. And we respond and react right away. I cry, you know, and I go talk to somebody and tell somebody, and I feel better, okay? So that's kind of what happens psychologically during grief. And they say there's different stages of grief. This kind of tells you where you're at, from shock or wonder or dismay, can't accept it, and start turning into anger, things like this. These are good things. Good. It's good to heal from grief, and we don't have to grieve so long if we do it in a healthier way. Okay, people that don't express their feelings, you can keep these emotions forever. You can be missing someone forever because you're not doing anything about it. Hope I answered the question. Thank you, Jennifer. Let me know. Izzy's Beauty Show, etc. I can't remember where you're from. I'm sorry, Izzy. I discovered I can write poetry, so I joined a writer's group. Throughout my abusive relationship and out of it, I continued writing. I also journaled. So there's a plethora of my life story throughout my library room. My first herb garden was started last year from seeds. It was interesting to watch the plants thrive. I'm still taking care of my herb garden, and I find it rewarding. Great topic, David, and I hope they remove the ban from your channel. Please let us know what else we can do. Thank you very much. You're doing plenty. Thank you. I'm glad. Thank you for sharing this. I read this to all of you, and I just drill it because we have to. Trauma, depression keeps us isolated, and life sucks. Okay, so let's get excited about something. Let's have interests in life. Pursue your interests. Make you more of an interesting person. Make the world more interesting. Go find more interesting people in your life that share common interests. Pursue your interests. I hope you at least know what they are. Thank you, Izzy. And Shannon Thom Hamlet again. David, I'll never forget the first time I heard your cast about 5 years ago. I was at the biggest low point of my life, the biggest low. From a borderline relationship, whom I had a beautiful new child with. I was alone, so confused and barely able to keep fighting. The minute I heard your story, life came back into me. I wasn't the only one. You gave me hope. You gave me the overwhelming desire to fight for me and my wonderful son. Yes, I continue to deal with his BPD mother. Oh, there's more. It got cut off. I'm sorry. If you had a question, please ask me again. Thank you. And I'm glad to hear that my videos and stuff have helped you. I didn't give you anything. I made a video, you listened to it, and you got inspired somehow, and that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. And let me know, please, if you had a question. Sorry I got cut off. Oh, so I have it here. Awesome. I have the rest of it. Yes, I continue to deal with his BPD mother, but I have tools. David DeMars is a much needed person. It may not be understandable to someone who hasn't been through it, what we have. It seems insane because it is. To not support him and his attempt to help people who have been through these things is an injustice and not the right thing to do. I plead with the powers that be. Do not take anything from DeMars' coaching. Doing so will definitely cause horrible problems to future people who need him. I was one. Thank you, David. You changed my life, gave me strength. As a positive person, I will continue to have till my dying day. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I appreciate you saying things like this and letting me know and telling other people. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Looking forward to hear from you. Jennifer from United Kingdom. David, when I started to heal and walk around, I'd look up and notice tall buildings, trees, the sky, and airplanes. What happens in trauma that causes us to notice life in such detail? And what changed so that I noticed more? Well, I mean, first, and I'm going to read what I wrote, but I mean, first, you know, we are raised, I'm telling you, you guys were raised to focus and place importance and your attention on other people and their emotions and what they want and what they need and their judgment and what they think of you instead of us, okay? And so we're pretty preoccupied all the time and what other people want and need, you know, ready to just jump when they say jump. And yeah, that has a lot to do with it. Now we're traumatized. We're coming out of this thing. Here, I wrote, oh, you stop to smell the flowers now. I know what you mean. I think this is what many people experience as we age. We start to appreciate our surroundings more, things like this. Trauma makes us more sensitive. It makes our head more sensitive. I've been having questions about ear ringing. I had ear ringing too. It's called tinnitus. It's a common problem with people who have suffered from trauma. Trauma makes our cognitive senses and everything very much more sensitive, and we might be sensitive to light, to loud noises. Our ears might ring. We might be sensitive to smells. I can't stand like perfumes and floral perfumes and stuff like Chanel. Just, oh God, yeah. Or a man with too much cologne, or music in a car, too much bass, things rattling, things like this used to just drive me crazy for a few years. And thank God it doesn't anymore because I can't change it. Yeah, I think that's what's going on, Jennifer. And I think there's, you know, a part of self-discovery. We're forced to look at ourselves after this. It takes somebody that can't love us to teach us how to love ourselves. And that's what we're doing. We're finally turning to ourselves and focusing on ourselves and start realizing what we like, what we want, what we appreciate, how we feel, what we value. Yeah. Thank you. Rory, hello, David. I think you missed my question about Kensington Avenue, Philadelphia. Yes, I did, and I forgot what it was, but I think I know what it was. Let me know if I'm wrong, Rory. It kind of has to do with this next question here. No, it doesn't. So somebody else asked me. So I think your question was about why are there homeless people that sit there and just do drugs? I had somebody else, why do they look so out of it, and things like this. So to just kind of brush upon homelessness, what I've learned and what I know about homelessness, and I know quite a bit. I've never lived on the street. I've had family homeless. I've had friends tell me. I've had tons of experience with homelessness. I've what's it called? Donated my time and helped homeless people. I've worked in areas where I had to deal and get to know really well homeless people every day and work because I had to work with them and stuff. So I know them really well in different cities too. So what you have when you have homeless people, you typically have a good portion that are psychotic, okay? Schizophrenia, stuff like this. They need hardcore medicine to function. Sometimes they still can't quite function. Only about 60% of schizophrenics react to medication, to take medication. The problem is it's not illegal to be crazy. So until they harm themselves or harm somebody else, they don't get any help. It's really sad. Really, really sad. And we need more and more and more mental health in this country. It's just insane that we're the #1 best country in the world, but yet our mental health is just awful, awful. Look what's going on lately. Mental health, you know? COVID lock up for a little while and then everyone's just going crazy. That's all it took. That's all it took. It wasn't just because of COVID. That's where our mental capacity was before COVID. So you have a good portion that are psychotic, that need drugs, that can't get the drugs, that drugs don't work. And then you've got another huge portion that can't function in society. A lot of personality disorders. The biggest one is schizotypal. Schizotypal wants attachment with people, seeks it, but they're in the weird category, the weird cluster. So they say something weird, they do something weird, and people, they push people away and they don't even realize it. Remember, personality disorder, I don't know, it's me. What did I do? I can't figure it out. Why does everyone hate me? And it doesn't take much before you're not a member of society and you just don't try anymore. You can't function. Often these are drug addicts. They turn to drugs and addictions to soothe themselves, and they end up, you know, on the streets. And you take enough drugs really regulate your hormones, your feel-good hormones. And after you do drugs long enough, you don't get those anymore, okay? And it's only the drug. And so when people look out of it, they could be taking downers and be really high. They could be coming down off upper or lower. They could be sick. They get so dependent on a drug that once they stop taking it, they could literally die. And so these are the problems, besides massive depression, right? There's nothing worse than being ostracized or feeling that way from society. Nothing. People want to help homeless people, talk to them. Stop giving them your money and feeling sorry for them, because I've been down that road and I've offered homeless people jobs and they won't even take it. A lot of them can't function very well. Most of them really don't want to work. Curious Nettie, hi. Don't know where you're from. Oh, United Kingdom. Thank you. Thank you for your no-nonsense, honest, and down-to-earth advice. After growing up with a bullying family, I've had low self-worth all my life. As a people pleaser, I attracted narcissistic partners, but believe my second husband was my hero. Since watching your videos and others on narcissism, I'm recognizing some traits in even his behavior. 2 examples spring to mind. Well, I just want to say something right now. If we're dating toxic abusers, and that's what a narcissist is, okay? And be clear with that. And you may not know. A lot of us don't even realize that was abuse, that I'm being abused and stuff like this, okay? So if you're dating, married, long-term relationship, living with a nasty toxic abuser like someone that has narcissistic personality disorder, why wouldn't you date another one? What happened in between there? Did you go to massive treatment and figure everything out that was wrong and your self-worth and heal from your past? No, you just gave it a few years and then you dated someone else. Guarantee you that person's sick in some way. They might even be a victim of it too, not healthy. I just want to be clear on that. A lot of people don't understand that. He would suddenly stop talking to me for no reason for months. That's abuse. Nasty, psychological, disgusting abuse. It would take for me to have a complete breakdown for him to stop. Also, that's what he's trying to do, completely crush you. Also, when we married, he said I could only have a wedding ring after we'd been married for 10 years. Well, he was true to his word. Well, and I also want to be clear that we both have terms in a relationship and then we agree upon them. Okay? So sad. Well, he was true to his word on that one. He died more than 10 years ago, and I still miss him terribly. Write down everything you miss about him. Maybe isn't it really him, or could another human being do that? Is it just how uniquely amazing he was, or was it just that I lived with him for so long? Think about it. Maybe we all act narcissistic sometimes. What do you think? Much love and gratitude. Thank you. Thank you, Nettie. Much love and gratitude to you. So I kind of told you what I think. Maybe we all act narcissistic sometimes. Yes, but we don't need to excuse what happened to you. How he treated you. Not talking to you for months is just freaking disgusting. Don't you dare come back after you do that to me. I hate it when people do that to me. It's one thing that you do that to me, and then you come back. Hi. You're lucky if I'll respond. So, yeah, it would only make sense that he's very narcissistic. Are we all narcissistic sometimes? Narcissism is a spectrum that we're all on. Yes, and we've all been little narcissists as little children. Okay? That has nothing to do with how he treated you and how you felt, more importantly. Okay? That's not right to do. Most people would never think of doing just that one thing. I bet there's many, many, many other things that he did. So it's a spectrum, yes, but there's a very distinct criteria for the disorder. Okay? You can go look it up and see if you think that he has it, but probably. Thank you, Nettie. Thanks. Keep asking questions. Bob Smith. Is that really your name? Bob Smith. John Doe. Hello, David. I wanted to say I've been watching for years. I remember in your personal story you went through a lot of similar things. I'm hoping to stop strong emotional abuse from a parent to children. Court systems haven't always caught up with this, so any advice is appreciated. Think that parent ended up with another toxic person and is so toxic and ongoing. Both are verbally abusive during visits. How do you protect someone that has no interact with toxic people? Oh, how do you protect someone that has to interact with toxic people? How do you explain to a young person that some people are toxic and the names and the word they say are wrong? I know it's obvious, but what about when they're the person's parent and the explainer is trying to be respectful and responsible? So, yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to be respectful to the other person. Children don't like that. You hate on someone, you hate on a child's parent, and that's the best way to push them away from you. And so it's age appropriate. It's up to the parent. I don't tell parents how to raise their children or when. That's up to you. But I don't see any harm in explaining to them a person's problems. And you say, this isn't normal. This kind of behavior isn't right. Yeah? And then you teach them how to navigate through it, what they can do. But all that matters is how they feel. Feel. That's all that matters. How they feel. How I feel, how I feel, how I feel. What do I do about how I feel? So teach them what to do about how they feel. Can't change dad, right? If you can't keep them from going over there, they're going to have to deal with it. And so we check in with them when they're done with them, ask them what happened, how they feel, write it down, chart it. Make them rate themselves and make them tell the person, that hurts, you're hurting me. Toxic abusers hate that. The child should be in therapy. The child should be in therapy, and I recommend, if this is about his father, maybe getting a male therapist. That's a better role model, someone for him to say, hey, not all men are pieces of crap. Okay? But there's a lot of reading you can do on how to be a better parent, stuff like this. The best parent, don't forget, is the healthiest parent. Doing things for themselves, showing the child this is what we do for ourselves. Okay? Not just I keep doing for you and doing for you and doing for you. They might get that idea. I need to do and do and do for others. No, do for yourself. So we do for our child, but we also do for ourselves first. Okay? Sorry I couldn't help you more. Pretty complex situation that they shouldn't probably be in. So try to make them understand what this does to people that are around them. Okay? And show them. Say you expect to feel frustrated. Expect to feel sad. Expect to feel angry. Anxious. It's stress is what it is. It's stress. The biggest thing. So we start teaching them how to deal with stress. Show them healthy ways to deal with stress. Sergeant Muffin Badger, Central California, just got out of an abusive BPD relationship. Why does it hurt so bad that I left, even though I was lied to, cheated on, and verbally abused on the daily? I'm really sorry that you were. I'm really sorry that you went through this and that you feel this way. It's vitally important to get help and not feel this way. Vitally important to learn what happened to not do this again. So there's multitude reasons why it feels so bad. For one, we can't take emotional trauma. That's our hormones going up and down, up and down, up and down. It actually causes damage to our brain. Okay? It's very hard on our body. This is stress. This is the biggest source of stress in relationships. Now you have a toxic relationship. Biggest source of stress. So our bodies are starting, once we get off of it, it's like getting off a drug. Once we get off of this, our bodies start feeling it. We may be able to start feeling it. We may be allowing ourselves to start feeling it because you just spent a bunch of time lying to yourself, numbing your feelings, not processing them, not making yourself feel better. You also lost everything that you value. You lost and never got anything you needed. You numbed yourself, didn't get what you wanted. You completely lost yourself. A sense of yourself. So we feel really unstable. We may not be able to regulate our own emotions, and they're going through the roof. If I have 40 different emotions, 40 different things my body's doing, it sure doesn't feel very good. When you have a dependent relationship with someone toxic, like a borderline, after a while you start to depend on them emotionally. Okay? This relationship has fluctuated your hormones so much that now the relationship is gone and you can't feel good. You don't have serotonin or dopamine or oxytocin, endorphins. You don't have them. Start learning how to do that naturally. Or good luck getting hormones from doctors. Okay? It's a loss. Okay? And to the last person, Jennifer, asking me, I was waiting to get to this question to say more. But loss is a huge blow to our ego. Someone abusing us is a blow to our ego. Someone leaving us or loss and stuff like this are blows to our ego. It can make us very angry. It's okay. Good luck. Get help. Don't do this alone. David, how do antidepressants work on our brain? So antidepressant is just a name. It's not, it actually doesn't really tell you at all what the drug does. So we all know what depression feels like. This is saying anti. So you don't feel that way. Well, it doesn't. It doesn't do that. So drugs tend to mimic or block our neurotransmitters in our brain. They mimic or block. Tend to think of a downer like marijuana. Okay, it just blocks the signals, so we're a little slow, a little stupid. Think of an upper like a methamphetamine. It actually mimics the same shape as a neurotransmitter and goes into our brain cells as if it's a neurotransmitter. So we're actually getting signals faster and quicker. That's why you'll see people with methamphetamine or cocaine just but they make mistakes because it's not the real transmitter. Okay. Antidepressants, our emotions, depression is an emotion, and we have tens of thousands of different emotions, things our body's doing, but everything depends on the brain and the signal we're getting. So an antidepressant blocks emotion, and not entirely. Okay, it doesn't allow those neurotransmitters to get through. And it's called antidepressant because we take it for depression. We aren't taking there's no such thing as an anti-joy pill, an anti-happy pill. But guess what? It does the same thing. There's no difference. It's the same thing. If I want an anti-happy pill, I'll take an antidepressant because it's really anti-emotion. So if we need it, we take it. We don't suffer. But the goal, the objective is eventually get off of it. How? Ask your doctor. When? What's the plan? I cannot tell you enough how many people come to see me and they have a therapist, a psychiatrist, or they used to, and I ask them, what was the plan? What do you mean? What's the plan? Just do this for the rest of our life? Take antidepressants and just come see them every time you need a refill and that's it? Oh, great plan. You're not going to really experience joy and excitement if you're taking antidepressants. You won't feel as bad. That's good. but I don't know how else to overcome negative feelings without some positive ones. Okay? Just to be aware of those things. Okay? Anti-emotion is what it is. Any doctor who disagrees with me is probably making a good fortune off of it. Salema from France. Hi, Salema. Could you please give the definition of self-righteous person? You have talked about it a little bit, and I had the feeling I had some characteristics of the self-righteous person. Oh no, you narcissist. So bad, but if I need to work on this part too, okay, it will have to be done. You have good English, by the way, for being French. So the self-righteousness, the self-righteous person. Look, all of you look into your own self-righteousness. On its own, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad about self-righteousness, about somebody who has some of it. I sure have in my life. It's a part of my personality. You have to take the Myers-Briggs test. I'm an INFJ. It's the rarest one, but everyone I meet says they're an INFJ, so I don't know how that works out. Except that we are very susceptible to narcissistic emotional abuse. So that's why a lot of you guys are INFJs. But it's also a part of our personality type. When I think I'm right, boy, do I think I'm right. Maybe most of the time I am, but not always. And so if you're going to be a self-righteous person, get used to apologizing when you're wrong, at least. Yeah? Check yourself. I just say, like, when someone asks, God, David, you know so much. I know nothing. I know nothing. I think I know. That means nothing. From my perspective, I see something like this, and it adds up, and yep. Am I right? I don't, who knows, you know? Self-righteousness. Like I said, on its own, it's not bad, but it can cause some problems in your relationships, for sure. So we can be self-righteous, we can be right, and we can argue that, you know, that's okay. But listen to other people. Don't be black and white. It's not just right or wrong. There's a middle area. You can even be right and wrong. You're not right, not wrong. Yeah, so, you know, self-righteous, somebody who believes they're right and argue to the death. Thank you, Salema. Jennifer, how does rocking back and forth soothe us? I did this a lot as a child. And that's what we do for children. When you see, right, or parents, or you've seen a parent put a baby up here and rock them, and they stop crying. Yeah? This is something I recommend to my clients who are at their very worst of anxiety. Very, very worst. Rock yourself back and forth. It releases serotonin in our brains. That's why. I didn't know this when I was traumatized, and I went through a massive, massive betrayal trauma experience. And I remember it got so bad, I literally just found myself sitting Indian style on my bed, just rocking myself back and forth. That's all I could do for hours. Literally for hours. I couldn't even think about anything. It was the weirdest, crazy. But it helps. It helps. Okay, that's why. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, last one from Sean from the Isle of Man. It says Sean and Nobby. Nobby is Sean's dog. Cute dog. Great dog. Hi, I'm happy for the first time in my life. I am happy. I am being met by your I'm being me. You're totally correct, David. I am walking twice a day, and Nobby averages 12,000 steps. I am marshalling the Isle of Man. TT race. Cool. I have bikes going past my head at 170 miles an hour. I'm in heaven, and I have met a woman. Normally I tell myself, I can make this work. But this time the narrative in my head is this will work. There are no red flags. None? It's not that I am ignoring them. They are not there. She wants me to be me. We sit and talk and listen without judgment. All we do is talk, 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 talk. Both enjoying learning more about each other. All her friends have noticed. She is so much calmer and happier. Everyone is so happy for us. I know I recently had a scare with a borderline, but this is not love bombing. This is calm adult conversations to get to know each other. Finally, I can share everything with and be me and not have to hide anything. They are not putting me down to make them look good. I will pursue this to its natural conclusion, but I have hope and belief it can actually work this time. This is so different. She has so much empathy for people. I look at her thoughts and opinions and they are so similar, but I saw this before expressing mine. Therefore, I'm confident this is not enmeshing. We can discuss any topic without judgment. This is the way it is supposed to be. This might be what I have searched for in vain all my life. I know she is probably codependent like me. And sure, she is hypervigilant. And she can read my feelings and shows compassion for them. This is comfortable. This is uncomfortable for me, and I admitted it, as my emotions are usually guarded, and I am the one that reads and tends to others. This is new and uncharted territory, but I love it and have the tools to keep myself safe and spot issues. Thank you, David, for helping me get here. Awesome. Awesome. She's borderline, though. I just want to let you know that. That's what I see. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sean, I'm happy for you, buddy. Go slow. Take it slow. If you really cherish and value this relationship, then you will act so. So we go slow. We don't rush. Why rush? Right? Would you want all the amazing experiences that you experienced by meeting someone, getting to know them, dating, being engaged, married, have children, and grow old together? Would you want to do all that in 1 month? And now you're here in 1 month. Well, we've done everything already. What do we do now? The idea is to try to get to know them more and more before you attach. So go slow. You know, hey, you want to go out tomorrow night? Maybe not tomorrow night. Maybe in a few nights next week. Okay, just some advice. You didn't ask for it, but I gave it. I'm happy for you very much, Sean. And I posted it for hope for others to keep trying. Don't give up. Okay, that's the biggest thing. The only way to trust somebody, unfortunately, is to trust them. Try again. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for all of your questions, everybody. They're always great, great, great questions. Better than my own videos, better than my answers. It's the questions that are awesome. So go down and read the questions and ask your own, please. I encourage you. And please, all of you, if you could, subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Vote on it. Comment down below. Ask questions. Share this video. Things like this. It needs it really bad. This channel is going down, down, down. YouTube doesn't like some of the things I say. I'm not going to stop. Thank you, guys. Love yourself first. I'll see you next week, okay? Bye-bye.